I 36M met 34F about 3 months ago. Our first date was eventful but not in a good way. We discussed things where we had polar opinions. Fast forward to a month of knowing each other and few more dates, we decided to give it a shot because we ironed out all our previous issues. By this time we'd both fallen in love with each other. Things moved quick and looked just perfect. Few days later we decided to move into my place. She was living at her friend's place couple of hours away. She didn't have to move in. Her stay at her friend's was sorted. Few days after moving in, she shared that she has a credit card debt of $35K. She could have hidden it from me, but kudos to her for sharing it. She asked me if I wanted an out, but I stayed hoping for the best. Finance-wise, I come from an extremely conservative background and this definitely was a red flag considering that we were discussing marriage. Note that we are in a whole area in the US. Finances therefore become even more critical. The following month I helped her with her living expenses while she stayed with me. Food and stuff was on me. She said that she'd left her last job almost 18 months ago because of wanting to take care of her dad, office politics and sexual harassment, nothing physical. More of people hitting on her at work. I told her to focus on getting a new job which would solve the debt issue. All this while she was also trying to pursue a startup idea which I wasn't too hopeful about in the short term. This was the time where I felt she wasn't really laser focused on getting a job or funding for her startup. This was another yellow flag. While she stayed with me, we fought many times over absolutely trivial things. We both had certain preferences and we found ourselves arguing a lot. She asked me to journal my thoughts and according to her the only solution for our fights was for me to not counter her opinions and always speak to her with extreme care and love. Fast forward to now, I decided that we were not compatible. While the fights were on trivial things, the solution felt difficult for me to sustain. The act of journaling felt way too formal. She mentioned that I don't care consistently, to which I once told her that she needs to be financially grateful for the help I was giving. I was then schooled for asking her to be financially grateful. It offended her a lot. AITAH for breaking up with her? The decision was not purely finance related. It was a combination of that and the constant fear of not expressing myself in front of her. Anything I'd say or do could trigger a massive fight, which was way too stressful. She's attractive and caring, but it felt like I had to be a certain way 24/7 for it to have worked.
Now we move to the next story.
I 20F and my boyfriend 22M have been dating for nearly a year and a half. He's incredibly sweet, and most aspects of our relationship are healthy. For our 1-year anniversary in early October, I spent the night at his house, and he took me to the aquarium. We didn't exchange gifts that day because we had both done handmade gifts, but we needed more time due to college. We exchanged gifts a week later. Since my BF's love language is making memories, going out and doing things together, I tailored my gift to that. I got him a heart-shaped box, a separate box that contained 1,000 date ideas, all handwritten, cut out in little strips, color-coded by distance and time commitment, a few hours, all-day events, or trips. On the back of the box, I included a message explaining that the heart-shaped box would fill up as we do each date from the box, eventually becoming a little memory box. He loves saving mementos from things we do. I also wrote him a long letter and gave him a matching Lego keychain set that connects to form a heart, since he's been obsessed with Legos lately. Altogether, I spent about 3 to 4 months making the box. We had set a budget, so that's why I didn't do anything more. His gift? Apparently, taking me to the aquarium was part of it. Even though that was more aligned with his love language than mine, I did appreciate it, but besides that, he gave me a spiral notebook with half the pages ripped out because he had used it for class. The cover was dented and tattered, and he had scribbled "one relationship journal" on the cover. When I opened the journal, things only got worse. Out of the remaining pages, only half had entries, the other half remaining untouched. And on the pages that he did write on, he wrote only on the front, leaving the back empty. He only wrote on every other line. His entries were short, had skipped several weeks entirely. The longest entry, it was about him considering breaking up with me back in August 2024. He never communicated this to me at the time, so I only learned about it as his 1-year anniversary gift to me. The reason he was considering breaking up was that I wasn't going out and doing things with him as much as he wanted. But he never asked me why before considering breaking up with me. The places he suggested were deep in one of the largest cities in the US, and driving there gave me major anxiety. My grandma died in a car crash. I was also working a lot then and was exhausted. When he asked in August if I enjoyed going out with him, I explained all this, but he never followed up to say he had been considering ending the relationship. That notebook was all he gave me for our anniversary. No flowers, no dinner, nothing. Then there was Christmas. He got me a ring, which meant the world to me because I love receiving jewelry from a significant other. I wasn't expecting anything fancy or a promise ring. I love the wearing something and thinking, my boyfriend gave this to me. Then PPL asking where I got it and being able to tell them. But the way he presented it was underwhelming. He casually pulled it out of my stocking and handed it to me, saying, I got this for you because I know you're trying to wear more gold. Fake gold again. The material aspect doesn't matter much to me. It's the lack of thought and emotional effort that stings. A more meaningful presentation would have made the gift feel special. Then on Valentine's Day last year, I gave him a jar with 500 individually hand-cut hearts, each with a unique reason why I love him, and a handmade, realistic-looking wired blue orchid, his favorite flower. I spent months on my gifts. He gave me a light-up rose. I don't like roses, but I appreciated the gesture, and a small bottle of cute little pills, the open-up with notes inside. There were supposed to be 100 pills, but he's only given me 2 notes in almost a year. It's the little things like this that add up and hurt. What really stung was a conversation during lunch with friends today. One friend mentioned he was getting his girlfriend a promise ring for their anniversary. My boyfriend chimed in to remind friend not to forget flowers for his GF, yet he didn't get me flowers for our 1 year. Then my BF started talking about how he doesn't believe in promise rings, saying there's something only high schoolers do. He even admitted he didn't know the difference between a promise ring and an engagement ring. Once one of my other friends explained, he still kept playing off of something stupid and looking over at me to see how I was reacting. This was after I had been excited, showing our friend really pretty promised rings that I loved. I suggested him to get for his girlfriend. It almost felt like he was trying to indirectly discourage how meaningful I thought they were. I'd always hoped for a promise ring someday, but after hearing him dismiss them like that, I know it'll never happen. And honestly, I wouldn't want to ask him for one. It should come from him wanting to give it, not because I asked. I want to make it clear, it's not about how much money somebody spends on me. I don't ask for anything from him ever, and I don't expect him to spend a lot of money on me. I actually pay for myself or split costs most of the time, and he rarely offers to cover for me. I've already expressed that he makes me feel like he doesn't like paying for things for me. At this point, I feel like my love language isn't being considered. A flower picked from the crack in the sidewalk or a handwritten note would mean the world to me, but he doesn't put in that kind of effort, and it hurts. I don't wear the ring, partly because it's too big, but also because the way it was given to me. And I put the notebook in the back of my storage because it hurts to look at. AITAH.
Thank you for watching. Let us know what you feel about the story in the comment section. Subscribe now and hit the notification bell so you never miss a story that could become your next favorite.